What if the man everyone thought was untouchable just ran out of places to hide? January 2026 brought a document drop that had Jay-Z's name stamped across 86 pages of Epstein files. And suddenly, the internet wasn't asking if he was involved, they were asking what took so long. But here's the part people miss. This isn't just about one scandal or one lawsuit. It's about decades of whispers, allegations that never stuck, and a pattern so carefully hidden that even his closest friends are starting to talk. And now, 50 Cent says he's ready to expose it all. The DOJ released a massive set of documents tied to Jeffrey Epstein in late January, and Jay-Z's name appeared 86 times. Not once, not twice, 86. Now, before anyone jumps to conclusions, these weren't charges, they weren't evidence of guilt, but they were mentions, tips, alleged sightings, enough to make the public stop and wonder who exactly Jay-Z was spending time with behind closed doors. The backlash was immediate. Reports started circulating that Beyoncé lost millions of followers almost overnight. Whether that's fully accurate or exaggerated doesn't even matter anymore, because the perception had already shifted. People wanted answers, and all they got was silence. Jay-Z didn't address it, his team didn't address it, and that silence, that refusal to even acknowledge the storm brewing around him only made things worse. The internet doesn't forget, and it definitely doesn't forgive when someone just disappears from the conversation. But then there was the lawsuit. December 2024, an anonymous woman, referred to only as Jane Doe, came forward alleging that Jay-Z and Diddy both assaulted her at an after-party following the MTV Video Music Awards back in the year 2000. She claimed she was 13 years old at the time. 13. The allegations were graphic, disturbing, and they named two of the most powerful men in music. Jay-Z's response was anything but quiet. He released a statement calling the lawsuit a blackmail attempt, saying it was baseless and malicious. His lawyers came out swinging, demanding the case be dismissed and threatening countersuits. For a man who rarely speaks on legal matters publicly, this was aggressive. And here's where it gets messy. The woman later withdrew her lawsuit, but she didn't say the allegations were false. According to legal filings, she claimed she was being harassed. She said two people approached her outside her home, people who allegedly identified themselves as investigators working for one of Jay-Z's attorneys. They reportedly pressured her to sign an affidavit saying her claims were fabricated, that her lawyer, Tony Busby, had sought her out and offered her money to lie. She refused. She also alleged that her parents were approached with similar questions. The whole thing left her terrified, wondering how these people even found her when her identity had been kept anonymous in court filings and media reports. She dropped the case not because it wasn't true, according to her, but because she feared being publicly exposed and attacked. None of this has been proven in court, but the optics? Brutal. And that's exactly when 50 Cent stepped back into the spotlight. He's been going after Jay-Z for 20 years. This isn't new. But now, with Diddy facing federal charges and Jay-Z's name popping up in lawsuits and Epstein files, 50 sees an opening. He announced plans to produce a documentary on Jay-Z following up his Netflix project on Diddy. He's not hiding his intentions either. He posted about it, mocked Jay-Z online, and made it clear this isn't just business, it's personal. So what's the real beef? According to people close to him, it all traces back to the Super Bowl. 50 Cent was heavily involved in curating the 2022 halftime show. Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige all performed, but 50 Cent wasn't on the original lineup. Allegedly, Jay-Z didn't want him there. It wasn't until Eminem reportedly threatened to pull out of the show entirely that 50 was added. That kind of disrespect doesn't sit well with someone like 50, who spent his entire career proving he belongs at the top. And now, with everything unraveling around Jay-Z, 50 isn't holding back. He's making it clear that this documentary will show the world who Jay-Z really is, not the billionaire image, not the business mogul, but the man who allegedly pulls strings behind the scenes and walks away clean every single time.
I'm fully prepared with everything I need for the Jay-Z documentary. The moment he sent that legal letter, I knew I had to let the world see who he really is. He and Diddy are cut from the same cloth. He just hides his arrogance and control behind a cleaner image. Our feud has lasted 20 years, and I know better than anyone what he's done in the shadows. I even suspect that so-called funeral bouquet wasn't Diddy's idea at all, but Jay-Z acting on his behalf. Back when Nicki Minaj posted that video of him wearing a pink wig, all I did was repost it, and he got so nervous he had his lawyers threaten me. In 2015, Nicki worked her ass off helping him build his platform, and he allegedly pocketed her $7.9 million in royalties. And then there's his fingerprints all over key incidents through the years, whether it's the elevator footage or the guest list at Diddy's parties. He was involved, clearly, but somehow he always walks away untouched. That's what he's best at, pulling strings behind the scenes while pretending to be spotless in public. And now that a corner of the darkness has been ripped open, I'm not stopping. Everything my team and I are doing isn't about attacking anyone. It's about making sure the truth can't be buried by him ever again.
Jay-Z ain't answering the phone?
He ain't answering the motherfucking phone.
Yeah, it's like this, like
We had a black billionaire's lunch.
black excellence. They're sitting there like, yeah. It's the billionaire brunch. You're like,
I hate you, man.
And we here together and we gonna keep staying together. We getting tighter.
unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you this year. Yo, I feel like I'm normal again. Get me out of here.
Then there's the Diddy connection, and this is where things get really interesting. When the lawsuit first named both Jay-Z and Diddy, Jay-Z's lawyer came out and said something that raised a lot of eyebrows. He claimed that Jay-Z and Diddy were never close friends, that they were business associates at best, and that any suggestion of a deeper relationship was false. But people who were actually there, people who worked security, people who traveled with them have described something different. They talked about matching lifestyles, inside jokes, and a level of comfort that didn't look like casual business interaction. They described Diddy showing up at Jay-Z's events, appearing at concerts, and positioning himself next to Jay-Z publicly. Yet, despite all of that, when Diddy's legal troubles escalated and pressure intensified, Jay-Z remained silent publicly. No statement, no visible support, nothing. It was as if distance became the safest strategy.
Explained that Jay-Z is worse than Diddy. She explained how Jay-Z has done worse things than what Diddy did to Cassie to other females. And she said that she has the scars to prove it. She alleged that at one time Jay-Z attacked her and got it on film like Diddy did. And she alleged that this is why Jay-Z is totally pulling away from Diddy and you don't see him around. And it's been alleged for quite a while that Jay-Z is pulling away from Diddy because he doesn't want himself caught in the crossfire. I mean, you even have 50 Cent at this point talking about how Jay-Z is in hiding while this whole Diddy thing blows over. And you even have these accusations of Jay-Z being responsible for what happened to Cassie White. So I'm going to go ahead and roll you guys this clip of everything that Jag had to say about Jay-Z being worse than Diddy. And you guys let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
Sean Carter is just as bad as the diddler. And I know that for a fact. I got the scars to prove it. You want to know what a box cutter feels like going into your skin and ripping you? I can tell you how it feels. Y'all ain't seen shit yet. That Cassie shit, that's nothing. I'm saying Sean Carter remembers everything he did to me and he's got it on tape. Just like Diddy. And they're gonna be crazy. It's gonna be the women that give him in the end.
And that's a pattern people are starting to notice. Dame Dash, Jay-Z's former best friend and business partner, spoke about how unusual it is to see Jay-Z in this position. He said in all the years he's known him, he's never seen Jay-Z forced into publicly defensive territory like this. Not during cheating rumors, not during business disputes, not ever. Jay-Z historically controlled his narrative carefully, allowing lawyers and representatives to handle controversy while he stayed above it. But now, mainstream outlets and public discussion aren't fading. Old footage, Old photos and old connections are resurfacing rapidly, and decisions to distance himself from former associates have only intensified speculation instead of quieting it.
Exactly what Jay-Z's accuser is saying, that even though she dropped the lawsuit, she still stands by what she says, and she only dropped it because of harassment and the fact that she's terrified of Jay-Z. She says that Jay-Z is allegedly bullying her into saying that her accusations were false. In fact, in new legal documents, she is claiming that she was recently approached outside of her home and cornered by two people who told her they were investigators working for one of Jay-Z's lawyers. She claims they tried to get her to sign an affidavit stating that her art claims against Jay-Z were false, but she refused. Jane Doe also claims the alleged investigators asked her if her attorney, Tony Busby, sought her out as a client and offered her money to pursue false claims against Jay-Z, two allegations she says she denied. He says this alleged confrontation left her intimidated and terrified, wondering how they found her when her identity had remained anonymous in media reports and legal proceedings. He also claims that her parents were approached by two investigators asking similar questions about Busby and her R story. In the new documents, she reveals she decided to drop the claim because she was frightened by the reaction from Jay-Z and his supporters. He says she feared she would be publicly outed and subjected to public.
Then there are the older rumors, the ones that never fully disappeared. Kathy White, also known as Kathy Karina White, was rumored to have had a relationship with Jay-Z. According to long-standing speculation, she planned to go public with personal information in 2010. Shortly afterward, she died. The official cause was listed as a brain aneurysm. She was 28 years old. No confirmed investigation connected Jay-Z to her death, and no evidence established wrongdoing. But the timing became part of internet lore, fueling ongoing speculation that resurfaced years later whenever controversy returned. These claims remain unproven and exist largely in rumor and online discussion rather than verified legal findings.
Will Diddy start snitching?
He better. But the only thing I'm interested in him talking about is everything he knows about Kathy Coriana White. See, I know you know what happened to Corey. Diddy, I know that. You and Jay-Z down in Vegas at Tao with Claudia. Why don't you just talk about Kathy? That might help. That might help a lot. Kathy Coriana White, Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died 24 hours after she announced that she was going public with their relationship and the baby while he was married to Beyonce.
Now,
Was
Jack,
it an aneurysm, Diddy? Or are you the one who paid the same coroner that you... Mm. Oh, Diddy, you should...
And that brings us to why this moment feels different. Jay-Z has built his image on precision, distance, and control. He's rarely the center of unresolved controversy, but the internet changed the rules. Old stories don't disappear anymore. They get archived, reshared, and revisited. And figures like 50 Cent, who have criticized Jay-Z publicly for years, now have audiences paying closer attention.
Diddy and Jay-Z. They was close enough that they wasn't playing basketball, they wasn't playing baseball, they wasn't playing football, and they wasn't playing hockey or soccer for Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his ass, and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but Jay-Z. Now, I don't know what kind of statement, and I can't say, I wish I could say half a homo, but I know I can't say it. But I don't know what kind of half a homo that is. And you trying to say that you're not close to somebody. You coming on stage, patting them on their ass, and then you making a broad statement to the public, can't nobody call me Sean but Sean Carter. And I heard Jay-Z said the same thing about them. But they were so close that they had matching white girls together. Because when they used to see each other, they used to say, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? He'd be like, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? So I guess that's a certain type of closeness.
I ain't know anything about that, man. I ain't know about, Jay touching his, so I got to go see the video. I ain't hear about that.
Come on, man. Everybody's seen that. 50 even pointed it out. Excuse me. When they was in ATL on stage. Remember when 50 bum rushed the stage with them?
Yeah, I think I recall that.
When Puff came on stage, first thing he did was pat Jay-Z on that. But I forgot. That's your favorite rapper.
Hey, him and Pocket's 1A, 1B. But what's your issue with Jay, man? I didn't know you had an issue with him.
I'm never a fan of somebody that...
Whether motivated by rivalry, business, or personal history, his upcoming documentary has already shifted public conversation before even being released. This moment isn't just about one person. It's about how power, influence, and reputation operate in the entertainment industry. Alliances shift, silence becomes strategy, and perception can change faster than facts. Jay-Z's silence, once seen as discipline, is now being interpreted differently by different audiences. Some see it as professionalism, others see it as avoidance, but either way, the conversation is happening without him. So where does this leave everything? Jay-Z built one of the most powerful brands in music history. He survived rivalries, scandals, business splits, and public controversy. But public perception isn't static, it evolves. The Epstein file mentions, the withdrawn lawsuit, renewed rivalries, and resurfaced rumors have created a moment of intense scrutiny, unlike anything he's faced before publicly. For the first time in years, Jay-Z isn't controlling the entire narrative, and in the modern era, that alone changes everything. So here's the real question. If Jay-Z has nothing to hide, will he ever address it directly? Not through lawyers, not through representatives, but personally. Because in today's world, silence doesn't end conversations. It often becomes part of them.
These guys are, man. They'll cause situations and cause problems, and then they'll forget what they've done because they're on a whole nother atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? A lot of shit that he did, you got to understand, like now he'll say that they're kids because he's raising kids of his own. You understand? But how would you like it that if Blue Ivory, 15, 16 years old, 17, 18 years old, dating in his early 30s? You're not going to go for that. No matter what she came through in Hollywood. But you got to understand, guys who was around there, we didn't know Jay-Z them ages. We didn't know these cats' age. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't having no beards and nothing like that. They was wearing low cuts. You understand? Clean face. I would have never believed when Jay was coming around the block, scooping up the young girls and stuff like that he was 30 years old. You know, if they 17, 18, 16 years old, and they 22, you thinking they 22, 23, something like that, 24 years old? They mom and them need to check them. They daddy and them need to check them. But that's not that far off. But for somebody to be 30 years old in their 30s, and they dealing with kids 16 years old, 17, 18 years, now that's a problem. That's an issue. And now he see that because he's raising kids. And he got a young daughter. I think he got another daughter that he didn't claim, and now he claiming them. These cats was doing a whole lot of stuff that people in the industry won't speak on. And then now that you're speaking on it and it's becoming where is that you can get on YouTube and you could talk about this shit and say what you seen or say what you heard, you understand, or what you know. Some people look at it being a problem. But these cats ain't street cats. They entertainers.